if I had to be another person to stand up, if I think after really going through this, and looking at the files and looking at the case, if I really feel that Karen Reed didn't do this and I have to be a voice that stands up and helps, I will.
We are expecting to learn more about the allegations against the girlfriend of a Boston police officer who was found unresponsive in the snow Saturday morning. I-Team sources say Karen Reed was in a relationship with John O'Keefe. She's facing charges including motor vehicle homicide and manslaughter.
We're the only ones fighting for the truth of what happened to John O'Keefe. And me and my family and my attorneys and my team have marshaled every resource to get to the truth. It just feels like no one else wants it.
Now, just to be clear, you didn't do it.
We know who did it, Steve. We know. And we know who spearheaded this cover-up. You all know.
And no, she didn't do it. No, she didn't do it. This is an innocent woman. She didn't do it.
I tried to save his life.
Yeah.
I tried to save his life at 6 in the morning. I was covered in his blood. I was the only one trying to save his life.
Why'd you admit to it?
She didn't admit to it. She didn't admit to anything close to that. Nothing close to that. And you should know that.
That was like 3 or 4 times she admitted to it.
No, she didn't.
That's not true.
She asked a question. She asked a question, which is very different. She didn't admit to anything.
I'm going to tell you one thing. Karen Reed's not going to fold. Karen Reed's not going to give up. Defense team's not going to quit. The Free Karen Reed movement is going to continue. We will continue to raise funds for her. We will continue to do standouts across Massachusetts, across the nation, across the world to let everybody know what's going on here in the state of Massachusetts, the corruption. And we will continue to get the word out there. Believe me. Believe me. Good Sunday morning, Massachusetts and the world. I just saw we have some friends from Scotland in here today, and I am super excited to have this show today with my two special guests from the Seeking Justice YouTube channel. I have Boston Mike and Tom CPU here. They're like my favorite wake up morning show. I'm always sneaking in their chat in the mornings. I love to hear, what they're talking about. And they've built a very exciting channel over there. And, the purpose of why I wanted to do this was I haven't touched base with them in probably close to 8 or 9 months. And again, I wanted to check in and kind of hear a little bit more of their stories of why they have gotten into the Free Karen Reed movement and what gravitated to them to this movement. So before I bring them in, I just want to do this. Good morning, moderators. Good morning, subscribers. Good morning, members. I'm not going to wait too much longer. Let's start bringing them in. We're going to bring in Tom CPU. What's up, buddy? Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And we got Boston Mike in the house. What's up, dude? Good morning.
Hey, man. How you doing,
Yeah.
bro?
How you guys been?
Good. Sick. A little sick like yourself, but
Everybody's good, man.
I know it's just
Everybody.
going around, man, but whatever. It is what it is.
Listen,
Yeah, we can't
bouncing back. Everybody's bouncing back.
shake it, man. I got this
know.
nasal thing that I've literally had for 6 weeks, probably more. I had my friend Lauren in the studio the other day. She got that cold a couple of weeks ago. She can't get rid of it. It's just like, what the hell, man? And I talk loud. So like, I'm really straining and stressing to talk. It's what we do here in Massachusetts. We talk loud, we talk live, and it's just the way it is. So tell me a little bit first about your channel. It's going really well. It's my favorite wake up morning show. I'm always in there, chatting along with you guys. And how's that been going? And what has been your main focus on the channel?
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tom.
Again, we're blessed, Brian, all of us, to have such amazing supporters and I love people from different countries, by the way. It puzzles my brain that they're all the way somewhere not even close to where we're at, and they're there. So it's been positive. The viewers are dynamite. The fans are just next level awesome. It's just I don't know how else to say thank you to everybody. I know we share viewers, right? We all do.
Course,
right?
yeah.
We have a core group of people we all share, and that core group of people. It's you guys that make make all this happen. And before we get into it, you got to hit the like, subscribe, and the thumbs up to this. And it helps so much. You don't even realize little things like that help the creators get out there more often to more people. So it helps.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a battle on here. It really is. I mean, sometimes it feels like the channel, and I'm sure you guys probably see this in your channel too. You feel stagnant sometimes, and then you feel like your channel's on rocket fuel. Right now, and it was funny. I was just talking to my friend Lauren about this here. My channel is on rocket fuel right now. Like it is something's caught the algorithm, and it's just, and then all of a sudden, it just goes down for a while and it stays stagnant. So
when it hits that algorithm, right? You gain a couple more people to that base, and it keeps going up, and then you gain some people, and it goes up, and that's how YouTube works. We didn't write it; we have to work within it. But I gotta say something, Brian. Your channel is always on fire, like always. Whether it's Enrique or Karen or Sandra, it's just you are always there, and it's going. Like your chat's always moving fast, and you always have. It's not just us; it's everyone's channels seem to be doing. Trials coming up, interest is peaking, and people are starting to see, hey, I like this, I like that, I like this. And if they don't like me or Mike or both of us together, that's okay, because there's a lot of other content out there. Think about this. 2 years ago, how much content was there?
Yeah.
It was just us. Remember they put Aiden in jail? You're like, like we're all kind of like,
what do we do?
Who's next first? Who are they coming to get next? And are we going to get nailed for doing this? But look at where this whole movement is today. We got people from another country. We couldn't get people in another town.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, shout out to all the free Karen Reed standouts today. If there are any going on, I'm sure there are.
Oh yeah.
So all those people. I know the Dedham people are probably out there.
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to them for standing out in the cold and keeping the movement alive. Because without that ground crew and that groundswell, we wouldn't have been able to do kind of what we're doing here. I mean, having these platforms, and my whole thing is if I can bring in a new viewer or a new subscriber to what we're doing here on these channels, then there's more power in numbers. And I'm sure you guys are experiencing that on your channel as well too.
Yeah, sure are. I mean, we open up the phone lines. And they call them from all across the country.
That's awesome.
I can't get like New Mexico, New Jersey, Montana, Chicago. I'm just like, how did you guys find? Like, we gotta ask. Oh, so and so told me about it, or I found your channel through their algorithm, or whatever they're searching. I mean, Big Brother's watching, right? Anything you do, they fit you into you are an algorithm. We all are an algorithm. We're a number. Like a metadata.
Yeah, metadata. We heard a lot about that lately.
We really are metadata right here. What's happening right now is an algorithm. Whatever you search, whatever you post, whatever you look at. So yeah, we appreciate the love, man. The love is great, man. And people are informed. Now I'm like, how do they get informed? Well, they watch us. Well, they watch Brian. They watch Turtle Boy. They watch Mazza. They watch Young Jerks.
Mike. Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just like, wow, you guys know what you're talking about. We're not getting people like, can you tell me what happened?
Yeah.
No, they know what happened, what's going to happen next, and what's going on Tuesday, and do you think they're going to have a mistrial again? I'm just like, whoa, educate. And that's good first thing in the morning, because we go on an 8, and it's like, you're right, Brian. People like to have a cup of coffee, just kind of catch up on maybe what happened on a last night show, or read a tweet. What's going on, because some shit breaks overnight. I mean, I'll be honest, I can't make it up till midnight. I just can't do it anymore. I used to be that guy.
Look at this. We have Melbourne, Australia. We have the Netherlands.
Right.
I saw Scotland earlier. I mean, it's a worldwide phenomenon movement.
How can you not love that? I mean, some of this doesn't even seem real, right?
20-month member. Wow.
Wow. 20-month member. Eliane, thank you.
That's amazing.
20 months.
That's amazing.
Almost 2 years, man.
It's awesome.
Finland.
From the beginning.
Look at Finland. Canada.
See, I'm talking about it, man. That's fucking awesome.
It's a cultural phenomenon. We're going to get into that.
Yeah, it's just not like this little hub of the Norfolk County, right?
It's
like it's people hate injustices, and they're like chiming in from Finland and they know the case.
Yeah, like,
Inside and out.
They
That's
know
the
Brian
thing too.
LTL.
They know it good.
Right. So
Yeah,
if
they
you're in
do.
Finland and you have Google or YouTube in Finland and your algorithm is pushing this towards you, thank you so much.
yes.
Thank you so much, man.
Right.
That's awesome, man. The dream team, look at that fucking like, and they put. I love the handle some of these people come up with, man.
That's
They're
great.
just
Yep.
funny as shit.
A lot of Australians in here today.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
Australia's
here.
big.
That's awesome.
Ireland's
Yeah.
big too.
Ireland's been big. Yeah, we're getting calls
Yep.
from Ireland, Britain. We
That's
have
awesome.
we have one lady from Europe that knows this case like the back of her hand. Like I'm like, wow, good for you, good for you, man.
Well, let's talk about this because I wanted to get a little bit more into both of your stories today
Sure.
and hear a little bit more about you as individuals.
All right.
And I wanted to talk, and I'll start with Mike. Not anything that's on. I just want to hear Mike a little bit here. How did you get involved in the Karen Reed movement, and what kind of drew you to this case?
Well, okay. We got to back it up a little bit because
Okay.
I played basketball, John,
Mhm.
and it's actually Paul, his father, and John. We played at a gym at the Salvation Army in Quincy when I was in my 20s, and John was probably a teenager, 15, 16, in that range. So played for like 7 or 8 years together, and you know, if you play sports, you kind of like just bond on the seat. If you win a game,
Yeah.
you lose a game, shower together, go for beer, whatever. Like John was a very good basketball player. He played a lot of good defense. His dad was always pushing him to play. And Paul ended up becoming the quarterback at Braintree, so he played occasionally. And then his sister played D1 in Rhode Island. So the basketball has been in that house for a long time. And the dad used to pull me aside because I was in my younger 20s. I could play a little bit better than John and those guys at the time. And he would just tell me, beat on him, beat on him, beat on him, beat on him. And they would show up in his dad's plumber truck and just blue collar guys, you know, just want to play ball. John's chippy, Paul's finesse. You know, the dad would shoot outside jumpers. So let's fast forward. Life goes on. I do business with John with cars and stuff like that. He ended up purchases a bunch of cars from me. I introduced him to one of his girlfriends that he dated for a little while. This is pre-Karen.
Yeah.
And he was living in Southie. He got on a Boston PD, and he comes in one day and just says, I got to buy a van or a Blazer or something. I forget what it was. And
For the kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he told me the whole story. And I was like, dude, you're like 20, you know, whatever it was, 30 maybe. I forget how old he was. And I'm like, wow, dude. Sorry. He's like, no worries. I didn't ask like any other question. I didn't get into all that stuff. Like, you know, why is your mom, father, brother? He just, what I was doing. So when he was dating the girl that I worked with, and she would go hang out with him in Southie, John was single, obviously. He likes to go out. He likes to go out. And she would just tell me funny stories about where they were, what was going on. And then she told me about his partner from Boston Finest. And she got really upset about that. She told me it wasn't what it was. I'm like, at the time, I was so going on with my life. Like I didn't put two and two together to make four. So I just like put that aside. And then fast forward again, I'm living in Kin. I married into this town. I had no idea John lived in this town, but my wife works in Cambridge, and she used to scoot down the side road in Milton. She got popped twice in 1 week by the state police. So I would just call John.
Yeah.
And John said, he just laughed at me and called me an idiot and call, you know, tell your wife to slow down. And so he fixed both tickets for me, you know, from the state police. I was like, wow, okay, you get juice, dude. But I didn't ask where he was living, what he was doing. It was a really fast phone call. And then all of a sudden the incident happens.
Yeah.
And my wife shows me this article about Turtle Boy. Now, I believe WBZ at the time when they said they'd bring video. I'm like, oh, fuck, Jesus Christ, no way.
Right.
You know, that's so fucking
Remember
terrible.
when they put that out there? Remember
Dude.
when they put that out there? They're like, we have ring video, and like, and then it was like they were floating around those. I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike. They're floating around those rumors that they had video of Karen hitting him.
Yeah,
like, remember that?
I bought it all because it was mainstream media, right? So my wife goes, "Hey, you gotta watch this." It was Turtle Boy. I watched it.
Boy.
So that just set me off. And then I'm like, my brother's like anti-mainstream media
Right.
too. He always watches YouTube and stuff like that, but he wasn't into the Karen Reed movement at all until I got a bit to it. So I'm now following Turtle Boy. I bought one of his shirts. I'm driving around Canton. I skateboard. I have an electric skateboard,
Yeah.
and I'm like one of the first ones in Canton that's got a Turtle Boy shirt on. I walk into a gas station with it on. People are freaking out. Like people behind the counter are just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't give a fuck who comes, like whatever." Right? And there's traffic, and I'm zooming in and out of traffic with a Turtle Boy shirt on, going down my roads and stuff. And I just didn't care. I'm like, we got to find out what's going on. And at this time, it was really early in the investigation. It was like everybody still thought the WBC shit was going to happen,
Yeah.
and they kept that on there for like a year. And like on their website, which was wrong, I thought, in my opinion. And then I'm going to standouts. I met Tom in Stoughton at like 18 degrees. We're out there walking with flags. I was like patriotic, like let's do this. I just showed up. I met Paul Cristofaro. I met Tommy. I met Scott, and like game on. Okay, here's my boys, right? Here's my team. I got involved with X. I wasn't a screen guy. Like I worked with computers my whole life. The last thing I wanted to do was get a computer. Honestly, Tom had to go with me to buy this computer. I'm looking at it right now. Hey, this whole microphone thing, Tom was with me. I couldn't even do it, right? So all of a sudden, we're still doing standouts. I'm going to Dedham. We're doing all this stuff. I'm at a court date for Aiden, and I think it was the fake victim and what's her face drives by, crusty panties. He sticks a hand out the fucking window. And I'm there watching this live. Like, what is going on in this world? And I'm talking to a mother that's with her child and trying to show them what it's all about, protesting and peacefully protesting. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. And then Tom goes to me, "Hey, Mike, you want to come on my show?"
Yep.
I said, "Yeah, we'll give it a shot." First thing started off with, I was with a cell phone in my wife's office, and I could barely hear each other. And I'll flash forward. We made it through the summer, we made it through this part, and here I am today.
There you go.
That's kind of how, and I still think about John all the time. Believe it or not, I think about him all the time. Like chewing the piece of gum, fucking talking shit in my ear, boxing me out, like fucking out rebounding me when he was getting taller, and like calling me an old man. And like I was like, what the fuck? Who is this kid? And then as he got older and more mature, going through school, he took a job in Duxbury. Then he went to Boston. He lived in Southie. He's living the life. He's telling me all these funny stories about how we pull these people over. I'm just like, fuck, that's fucking a riot, dude. But then he got taking care of the kids. I knew that he was putting bracelets on sex offenders, and he was like, why are you doing that? He goes, well, I'm the only parent of 2 young children now. Told me that whole story. Bought a van, all this other stuff. I was like, wow, dude, you stepped up, man. Stepped up. So I admire him for that. And I know he's looking down going, dude, full court press. Let's go. Telling it he would. Let's play some D. Let's get some offense going. I'm sick of playing D. Let's just go. Run and gun. I'm just like, all right, dude, give me the ball. I'll shoot. And I like that about him. He was a big advocate about winning, doing the right thing. He never cheated. He always played by the rules. His dad raised a great son. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, he's holier than holy. I love the kid. And I think about him all the time. All the time. When I'm walking up to my driveway to get my mail, walking the dog, I think about him all the time. Here's the funny thing is that Mike Camarano lives 3 houses away from me. Wow. And I never knew he knew John. Yeah. It's like meant to be, dude. It was like it happens so sadly, but he put me in a position to do something good about it. Whatever I can about sharing that story, how good of a person. Paul was a great kid. His father's a great father. I never knew the mother or the sister. She had passed before I got to know her. Or Richie. I don't know. I knew Richie was a basketball player too, but I never met Richie over there. But then I met Tom, and here we are today. And I feel like every day that Tom and I go on, I get butterflies in my stomach before we go live. And I saw your opening before you went to live. You were like, "Let's fucking go." That's how I feel. Like that's how I feel. Like I'm like, this is great, man. We're doing something positive today on a Sunday, and getting people in the chat involved and all over the world involved. This is great. It's great stuff. So I feed off that energy. I feed off doing something good. I live in the town of Canton, which is it's a whole other story. I could probably take up the whole hour of the show, but it's definitely a town that's in a transition. I'll call it. Like we have a new select board meeting vote coming up on the 8th. Susan Harrington is who we want to vote. We're going to get a 30-year incumbent out of there. Hopefully, we get more. She focuses on the police, like you would believe. We still haven't heard anything about the audit. Nothing.
Unreal.
Nothing. But they want to spend $700,000 on a pickleball court. But they worry about $200,000 audit, and what they have a 5-person panel on. So it's just horrible. I'm gonna tell you not to move here, but just look around. That's about it, man. That's all I got.
No, it's crazy and it's funny, but I always share my story about Tom as well too, because I remember when I first, I mean, it's like the infancy of when I started talking about the Karen Reed case, and Tom used to leave little comments, and then I started looking. And like, how you can go to the comment and you can click and actually look at the person's page. And I'm like, oh, this guy's talking about this stuff too. And then, I don't know, Tom, I think I met you at like a hearing, and that's how we kind of connected. And then Tom, used to come on the show every couple of weeks, and, we would just go through all this stuff, and he helped a lot when Aiden was away on my channel. And, we did a lot of lives. We broke the federal letters together. It's like 8,000 people in that chat watching. It was nuts.
Crazy.
And we actually had, I was just thinking about that today before we came on. I said, Tom and I were all part of that, reading through those federal letters. It was just nuts. Tom, let's hear your story.
Tom loves this stuff. I'm telling you, he was meant to do what he's doing. I'm telling you that right now. He was meant to do whatever God put him on this earth to do. Yeah. He's doing it.
So we're all here in this specific moment for a specific reason.
Right. We're here right now for a good purpose in life.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind, man. You're doing the right thing, people.
Yeah.
So I've been down this road before, the Karen Reed Road, we'll call it.
Yeah.
New Bedford is more corrupt than Canton will ever be. There's different levels of corruption. All right. So if a developer buys a piece of land, okay, the land has no houses on it. So it's say $1,000 a year for taxes.
Right.
So the developer goes and puts houses on that land.
Right.
But he leaves the one house lot not done. So the subdivision is not complete. Because at the same time, he's paying taxes on it being a piece of undeveloped land, $1,000 a year. There's 7 houses on it making revenue. All that tax money gets kicked back to the developer because he still owns all that land.
Right.
Technically, it hasn't been apportioned and whatnot and put through the registry of deeds and made a road. So that's a money grab. I caught them doing that and nothing was said about it. So the mayor pissed me off one day. So I made a nonprofit group.
No, they pissed you off?
Imagine that. Yeah, that was a story. I went to, hey, guess who the mayor was that pissed me off?
Who was it?
Scott Lang. Guess who he represents?
Who's he representing?
Lafayette.
Yeah. So
that's a whole other story.
Hey, you ready for this?
Yeah.
First Amendment. I walked into the school committee meeting with a camera. They're all stroking out. Is this
the first time you actually filmed something? Like,
this is going back. This is like, okay. I'm going to take my camera. I'm going down to the school committee. I'm going to film this. I'm going to ask them. And I walk in with a camera, and it's not the news or local cable. So now they're freaking out. The mayor comes over to me and says, I don't believe you have the right to record here. You have to leave.
Oh, yeah?
The mayor, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
He then has to write me a letter to publicly tell me that he was wrong. But we'll go. So me and him were going back and forth like that. It was a battle. There was the second largest high school in the state was contaminated, along with the playing fields and the middle school across the street, and some residential houses in a development, and then low-income housing. One whole area was affected with the contamination. So because the mayor was pissing me off and I ended up fighting with the guy, I ended up doing the nonprofit, going after the contamination.
Yeah.
So I went to EPA. They read my letter. They came down. And at that point, when the head brass from Washington, D.C. comes up, all the people from the New England region, this one's going to retire. This one's resigning. This one got transferred somewhere else. And I'm
Funny
like,
how that works.
Hey, looking back at it, you're like, hey, wait a minute. So what's happening in Karen Reed is the typical state response from any authority out there. They will accuse you of what they are doing. Buffer zone.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am. I get this thing from Aiden. I see it. I go, I watch his thing, and I'm blown away. You're telling me this lady's getting set up for murder?
Right.
All right. I've seen this before. Been down that road. So I go there to the steps with my camera, and I'm showing everybody what's going on. And Mike, you know how we were like the first ones yapping on Fanning, and then Truth and Transparency, and then Brian, you looked into Clap, and they accused us of intimidating the jury or influence the jury, or we were trying to get them on film. They were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Fanning, jury tampering. He influenced the jury by removing three jurors?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that? On a sitting jury of 12, 3 of them getting removed. What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Very rare.
You
Very
can't make
rare.
them up.
No.
So they accused us of jury
Intimidation.
impacting somehow,
Yeah,
impacting the jury when none of us were. Me and Brian went for a walk around the back of the courthouse and stuff, and we were so specific and conscious of every person, because we didn't want to be thought of or even looked at about influence the jurors.
Right.
So we went out of our ways to do that,
around.
right?
Right.
So Fanning, I believe, will get popped for jury tampering for that whole thing.
It's quite a possibility.
That's
Quite a possibility. Let me get to the super chat.
Wow.
nice.
Just want to thank you so much, What the Duck. And before I do that, Danielle, thank you so much for the $10 on Cash App. She said, Sunday morning gratitude for hosting a great show. Thank you. I appreciate that. And What the Duck, and Mike's kind of covered by it right now. But
It's all right. It's all right. It's a 50. It's a 50.
Keep donating
I'm
like
good.
that.
I'm good. Cover me all you want. I don't care.
Thank you so much. She said, you put up with a lot of shit to be able to bring us the truth and give us a safe place to be able to express our concerns with what is going on in this state. It speaks volumes of who you are as people. What you do is what you guys do, we all appreciate it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, a lot of people don't understand, with coming on to a platform like this, X, Facebook, YouTube, this stuff stays forever for us. This don't go away. And I'm proud of that.
Yeah,
I am absolutely 100% proud that my foot is stamped here in Massachusetts for the things that we can talk about, allowed to talk about, and put out there for the everyday people. Because again, and going back to what we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, the mainstream media lies. And we have the ability to pick up a microphone, turn on a camera, and speak to the people because we are the ones on the ground. What you get here is unfiltered. It's not bullshit. Like I've been there. Tom's been documenting it. You can watch his streams out front of those hearings and after the court, court days, and you see everything. So if the mainstream media tries to spin it like, oh, Alan Jackson this, David Unetti this, Spanky Brennan this, you're going to see it firsthand when they come out and those mainstream reporters start asking questions. And when you go to their articles, it's bullshit because they're not telling you the truth. I'm going to say this, though. I think lately some of the better known local journalists, the mainstream, have kind of come around a little bit more in this case. I think Ted Daniels does a phenomenal job.
I think Ted Daniel was the reason for that, because I think he makes everybody step up their game. I mean, they're not going to let him just run right over him, which he just did. They don't realize it yet, but that's who he is. I mean, Ted's been on this since the very beginning, right, Brian? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, and you're starting to see some of them come around a little bit more. They kind of float a little bit. I'm not going to call them out, but I'm sure everybody knows who they are in this room. But
again, right? What the most important person that gets to make the decision is you, the people that are watching us right now.
Yeah.
You guys are the reason. You get to make your own decision about what you believe to be true, whether you think Karen's innocent, whether you think she may have done it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have your opinion on this platform. You are allowed to even voice it. And people like Brian will help you come out and actually tell the world.
Yeah, but people like yourself, and then I would say the ultimate source, the closest person to this all, and you can just turn on his channel, or you can look at his almost daily blogs, is Turtle Boy. I mean, if you want the straight fucking truth, there it is. You know, it's gonna be there.
And the thing with Aiden is there's a lot that he knows that he can't, won't, and probably couldn't if he wanted to tell us.
Yeah.
So there's subtle clues, right? That you got to listen. Yeah. He hasn't got he's swimming his way over. He's swimming his way over there. He'll get over there eventually. Don't worry, Laura. He'll get there.
Oh my God.
You know, Laura, you've been there from wait a minute. Laura's been there from 5 times as long as Karen Reed's been a thing.
100%.
With Aiden. Like, she's been there from, I want to say, day 6, 7, maybe day 8. So
I gotta say this, and I want to publicly say this. Laura, for me, in the times I was helping Aiden with his channel, was a godsend to me, and continues to be.
She's been that way.
She's a wonderful person.
From day one, that's who she is. That's who she's been.
Yeah.
And you know, her career is like the perfect job for her. You know, like it fits. This is made for that.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and we still have discussions in chats and stuff like that. It's funny, we still share information.
I'm afraid to take her time. She's so busy, you know.
Yeah. Right. Let me ask this. I'm going to go to Tom first. Tom, how has this whole cultural movement in the Free Karen Reed movement changed your life?
Oh.
That's a broad question, but go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different aspects.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, how's it changed my life? Well,
you weren't ready for that one, were
you?
No,
I didn't see that one coming. No. Oh.
Well, I don't sleep much anymore.
No.
No, I used to. I mean, I could sleep 12, 13 hours usually. Not now. Nowadays, I'm lucky to get 3 hours. Then I'm up.
Yeah.
What else? I look over my shoulder a little bit more. Told I have a target on my back. I just can't see it, but whatever. Yeah. I'm sick of the injustice of what's going on with Karen, because it's not just Karen. If we're all talking about Karen, but who was it before Karen? Who got screwed? Who's sitting in jail right now that didn't deserve to be in there? Who's got a felony on their record that didn't deserve to have it? I mean, these are all. This is a crew that is bad from day one. They've been bad. Because where did this start? With the corruption, they just didn't wake up one day and say, "Oh, let's just let's cover up a murder." No, it's not just that. It progresses and progresses and progresses. And the sad part is they knew who to call, they knew what to do, and exactly when to do it. That wasn't their first time that happened. So yeah, how has it changed me? I see stuff like that now. I people come to me, Brian, and they tell me some of the most heinous, god-awful things that happen to them, and you just can't even say sorry because you just can't even fathom it. And these people are there holding a sign for Karen.
Yeah.
You know, so how does it change my mind? Well, when I feel bad for myself, I know that person went through this and this person went through that, and Karen woke up with a friggin' murder charge over her head. Aiden still got charges over his head. So how's it changed my life? It kind of puts it in perspective. And I think I'm gonna just, keep going with it. I got nothing to lose at this point. I lived my life. I'm happy. I've done everything I'm gonna do. This is now a hobby.
Wow.
Mike,
Dude, you're
same
young,
question.
Tom.
How's it changed your life?
Oh man. Okay. So I'm retired.
And
I
good
was
for you. Good
So-
for you.
All right. So I'll put that out there. That's why I have the time to do these things. I like to talk about things. It's good for my head. It really is, because death to me is a scary thing. I lost both my parents to cancer.
I'm sorry.
No, I lost my father to Roundup. Remember the whole thing with Roundup and glyphosate? My dad died because of that. And
I'm sorry.
it sucked. It
Yeah.
sucked, dude. It sucked. And so I'm grateful more than I am today than I was yesterday to be able to tell the story, be around Tom, be around guys like yourself, Brian, and be on the same page and have people that are like-minded like myself and that want to do the right thing all the time, even when no one's looking. So show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? Kind of like that's how you can live your life. I keep my circle small, few people learn it, and I always check it often, right? So I don't want people in my life that are negative, irresponsible, thieves, things like that. But so here I am living in Canton, and I get arrested 3 times for walking my dog, 1 time for a disorderly. So I was not liked because I called the police 44 times in 30 days because I walked my dog.
44 times.
I did, man, because they would speed down Mechanic Street at like 60 miles an hour in the morning trying to get to work. And I had 3 dogs at the time. So I was walking 3 times down the street individually. And they were just blowing through stop signs. And I didn't give a shit. I'm like, I'm calling. Next thing you know, I'm arrested. That was their way of shutting me up. Then the whole Cameron Ring thing starts. I'm in Canton, and Canton's the epicenter of what happened. So I look at the police completely different than I ever have before in my life.
Yeah.
What happened to Enrique, Justin Root, Sandra Birchmore, Officer John O'Keefe, and Karen Reed. The Birchmore case blew my mind.
Yeah.
That really just bothered me a lot. And it was Canton PD. Again, at the epicenter. Canton PD, again, at the epicenter. So it's changed my life in a way that I am so aware of what policing entails. And Tom's taught me a lot because he was a former police officer, like about the responsibility of a police officer. And what it really comes down to is Tom and I talk about all the time, it's money. Who's getting the overtimes?
Yeah.
Who's getting the better shifts? Who's getting promoted quickly? And that's the good old boy club. And it's been going on for generations here in Canton and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. It's the good, you have a 30-something year incumbent. You mean to tell me he's not corrupt in some way? He didn't do something illegal in some way in his last 30 years? I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe, just like a judge. I don't think any judge should ever be appointed for life. Because there's too much room for corruption. You have nothing to answer to. You're just answering to yourself and your moral compass. And if you don't have a moral compass, game's wide open for you, girl.
Yeah, look at Kennedy as a senator for fucking like 40 years or something.
Tip O'Neill.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot for Boston, but still, if you didn't do something for him, he didn't do anything for you. Right? I mean, so I'm really getting an eyeful of like how politics work, how the police department works in Canton. I'm so active in the select board. I was going to run. I actually pulled my papers to run for selectman, but I was told to stand down from a circle of people that I trust. It wasn't a bad thing, Brian. At first I was like, what do you mean? What's going on? They're like, trust me, bro. Trust me. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't do the trust me, bro thing. And I worked with Mike on the Young Jerks for a little bit about it. And we really got it going. He found a clip of Susan Harrington speaking at a town meeting, and she was all over the police department and the audits and trying to renew Rafferty's contract, which I think that whole process in itself, along with Karen Reed, is like two different stories, but they're connected in some way because of the chain of custody of the videos disappearing. All of a sudden, we're finding videos. Like, that's Canton PED. This is where I live.
Yeah.
You know, people from around the world are hearing this, but like literally, I can drive 3 minutes. I'm at their. I've been there. I've been in their jail. You know, I've been there, and I'm just like, these guys right here did this. You know, these guys right here, Chris Albert, a felon, is on select board. We did that. Never again on my watch. I will always fight for the right thing now, and I'll use my platform to do it. Tom lets me do it. I love him for that, and we're on the same page. But how dare we allow someone like that to get on the select board who's conflicted out? Should have never been allowed to make a decision about anything. You know, we have Netflix coming to town. We have this guy on the select board. This is like incredible. We have 30-something year incumbent. Come on.
Yeah.
No one's ran against this guy in years. I remember I belonged to a golf club up here called Waltuck, and someone told me that he was going to be showing up. I'm like, who is John Conley? I don't even know who he is. They paraded him around in a golf cart like he was like Kiss My Ring kind of guy. I was like, what the fuck? Ooh, get
Is he the Pope?
Yeah, get him off the fucking green. I'm trying to hit a shot here. We need to get him out of here.
Yeah.
He's just going around, and they're all. And I come to find out, Wampatuck's like everybody knows everybody. It's it's right next to the Resi, and it's like, you know, it's this town needs a redo 2.0. And unfortunately, the passing of Officer John O'Keefe, the people that live in this town that were drinking with him, the people in this town that were helping out to cover this up, all live in this town. So how can I not live here, know him, been arrested by the police, get my face out there, tell my story, and let people know, yeah, it does happen, right? I mean, the assault and battery on my builder. They said I spit on him and all this. It was crazy, dude, what they did to me. I'm just like, hire a lawyer, it cost me thousands. But I got around it eventually, but it took me a couple of years. But I knew this is what they're going to do. And then John O'Keefe happened.
Yeah.
And then, first of all, the Birchmore thing happened, but I didn't really put that together yet in my head. And then Johnny happened, and I'm like, man, those same cops, I put it together. And then the Fanning thing just crushed me when he was at Fort Myers. You know, here he is, an officer, and he's going down, beating up a transgender or a transvestite, I should say, in Fort Myers. Key West, excuse me, Key West. Yeah. And what kind of guy is this? Then all of a sudden we find out he's on the fucking jury.
Yeah.
Babysitting the jury.
Babysitting the jury.
This is the guy. If you look at my post today on X, you'll see the email that I got from Tommy. Tommy has an unbelievable sauce, and we got that and we posted it, man. Got like 250,000 likes or hits or whatever. Yeah, but people should know this stuff. This is the guy that's getting sued by Mr. Clapp for irregularity, doing stuff that's not regular or productive of an officer of the law to do to somebody. In Florida, even here in Stoughton, and for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, Fanning knew Farwell. They were on the same police force together in Stoughton. Fanning investigated Farwell when he became a trooper. I know we're getting a little bit off track here, but people maybe might not know that. Fanning is conflicted out of this, and then now he's babysitting the jury.
Fanning also beat Mr. Clapp, within an inch of his life, and there was no charges, no nothing. When he went to file charges, they kept giving come back tomorrow. The guy's not in.
Come to find out, Fanning's family is really good friends with Governor Baker.
Speaking about politics, not that I'm proud of this, but when my grandmother was alive, she was in charge of the Democratic Committee in Massachusetts that was run by Ted Kennedy. Now, Ted Kennedy, being a senator, can't run the Democratic Committee, so he had my grandmother run it. My grandmother also ran the Registry of Motor Vehicles, so I kind of know how the sausage is made, we'll say. So the corruption is just, it's got to go. It's got to stop for all of us. And Karen, thank God they picked Karen Reed, because
Right.
the state's got a battle on their hands now. I don't see anyone else being able to handle the Karen part. Anyone that I've met, does that make sense, Mike?
It does. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
She hasn't been flustered, and yeah, I don't know how she does it. And how am I seeing just myself on the screen here?
Yeah, you're alone up there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you're alone on the screen.
Wow. I hope Brian's okay. So listen, everybody here. No, listen, while we're here, please hit the like and the subscribe. And if you really like Brian's channel, become a member. It's a couple dollars. It's well worth their content, and he's always putting out good content. So all those things, if you get a second, just please do that for all of us. It helps the whole entire YouTube Kieran Reed algorithm.
You're an algorithm.
We're metadata. Let me get a couple of these in. Kim, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. I appreciate that. Sophie, a YouTube member and a moderator here on the channel. Thank you. She's a great guy. Great show, guys. Good to see you guys. Free Karen Reed, member for 5 months. Love that. Cheryl with an S. You got to get that S in there. Look at that license plate. Free Karen Reed. I love it.
Wow.
Member for 5 months. Great show, awesome. Guys. Thank you.
She's great.
See you Tuesday, Tom. So you're going to see you on Tuesday.
Yeah. Was she calling you something different, Tom? Or was that just you on Tuesday?
I get called off.
I think, yeah, don't say that. I think for me, speaking to this, I think for me, has it changed my life? Wow. I've met some really amazing people through all of this.
Yeah.
And I've made some really lifelong friends through all of this. Yeah. It's completely, I don't know, what's the word? Like paradigm shift? Like just shifted my life in a whole new elevation and direction.
Yeah.
And, and have the opportunity to meet, all those great people out in front of the courthouse at the hearings, all the guests that I've had on my show. I've never thought that I'd be talking to Mass State Police, retired Mass State Police and lawyers and, having
LV cops.
Yeah, having Aiden on my channel, the LV cops. Dude,
you ran Aiden's channel. What are you talking about having him on? You ran his channel when he was locked up, remember?
Yeah, we all contributed. I think that we all do our part.
No, you were it.
We all do our part.
And again, everything happened perfectly.
Of course.
Everyone was in the right place at the time. We're blessed. We don't realize how blessed
100%.
we are, but we're all blessed to be able to experience this with each other.
Yeah. And then, having the ability to, meet Karen Reed and meet her wonderful team of attorneys and her parents and all of her, her family parents and friends. And when you walk out and you have your Free Karen Reed gear on, or someone notices you in public and say, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. That makes you feel good. That makes you feel good. I've met some people that I haven't, I've met some people that said, God, I wish I never met this person, but it happens. But I'd say out of all the stuff, it's been super positive. I've made lifelong friends in all of this. And, again, it's significantly changed my life 100%.
Dude, you 100%. Started off in your bedroom or something. I was watching you back then when you had that little sign that said 15,000 members.
Yeah, I remember that.
Dude, I do. I remember that.
He would always keep it up to date too.
Yes, he would always change the number. Yep. I'm OCD like that. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, he's growing, man. He's growing. So I don't even know where you're at now. You're probably in the 20,000s somewhere.
37,700.
Nice.
Wow.
But you know what? It's just, listen, it's a number. The only thing that I care about on what I want to do here on my platform, if I can bring in just one person and have them look at all these cases and get a different view from the mainstream media, that's what I want to do here. And I'm just, like I said, just tell it the way it is, because we've been there, or maybe it's another case where we can dig into a little bit more and talk a little bit more about it and give facts that the mainstream media is going to wash over. That's all I really wanted to do here. Listen, you know, we're just all doing our part. It's the way I look at it.
Oh, you're so humble, dude. Just stop it. Well, you're so humble.
But
I
but
know,
listen,
I know. You put a lot of time into it, bro. You know you did. Look at your studio, for instance. The first time we were there, we were in the small one. Now you're up to the bigger one. Like, you put your own effort and money back into what you're doing, so you can bring a better product to what's going on every day. You change up I mean, to get Todd McGee on your station, the retired state trooper. I had seen him do an interview on Channel 2 in Rhode Island. The next week you had him on. I was like, what? And he was awesome.
Yep.
He brings so much analytical pieces to the puzzle that you and I would never know because we're not state police officers or retired. He knew like how the book ran. I'm like, see, that's educational to me. It just doesn't happen that you're not talking about, hey, what time happened there? You busted on the door. No, you're talking about policy and procedures. You know, and he's been back on before, and you've had lawyers on. You've had great interviews with other people. And I find your channel very, very motivating and educational.
I appreciate that. And that's why I said, I mean, I'm in your guys' chat every morning when you're there. It's my favorite morning show.
And you correct us when we're wrong. You're like, guys, well, that's actually
we asked Brian questions.
Brian,
he just did a watch. Like, Brian, what about this? Hey, what about that?
When was Brian Walsh arrested?
I heard a ball you this morning.
That's right. You corrected me on Brian Walsh. I thought he was in jail for an act. You're like, Mike. Damn. I gotta see. It's good that we have balances and checks. And I care if I'm wrong, but I don't like to be wrong. But we just do it in a way where, like, we're a team. We're all one big family.
This is passion for all. You know, this is passion. This is when you do stuff like this is from the heart. This doesn't just you don't just pick it up and go, I'm going to run with it. And I always said that if you're going to get on a platform and you're going to talk about these very controversial cases and this information we talked about and people getting murdered and all this other shit that we deal with, child predators and all that stuff, like, you got to have that inside you. That comes from the heart. That's not, I'm just going to turn a camera on, think I'm going to expand my channel, make all this fucking money. If you're in it for that, get the fuck out. We don't want you here. We don't want you here. We want it from the heart. We want it from the heart.
Yes, you have to be, either you were a victim of some sort. You know the family very well. You have love for that family, and you want to you hate corruption because your family or someone is in jail or was affected by it, and you're always listening to other people's stories and the mainstream media doesn't give you the full count of activity. Tommy memorializes stuff there when she comes in and out of court. Even when Aiden is there, Tom's there, which is huge because you get to hear Aiden speak about what just happened right there at the moment. Mainstream media is not there going, well, what happened? No, that they're all over the Karen Reed stuff, but Turtle Boy, I feel, gets left out a lot too, and he's going through hell, dude.
He's been left out a lot.
Yeah, he got going to jail for 60 days, and he just broke this whole thing with Paul O'Keefe. We really get into it. You know what I mean? That and to me, having that being broken, because the mainstream media would never cover that, having that being broken and exposed and having receipts like that and posting it is very knowledgeable to me now. Maybe I changed my mind about somebody in my own opinion about how they are. Was he a good dad? Is he a good husband? Is he doing the right thing when no one's looking? How's he handling all this pressure? How's he handling all the stress? Well, obviously we know now. Right? Obviously, we know now. I used to get pissed off when he would stare down Karen Reed and stare at him. And David Inetti's doing the arm block, so she doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck, dude? You here you are preaching like you're an angel, but deep down inside, man, you're another person. You're completely.
I just like the fact that she said in her interview with Ted Daniels, she said, I know that he's there, but I don't even acknowledge that Paul is even in there. I just see right through him now.
Right. Do you worse. And what kind of person that's going on trial for the murder of her life goes out and exposes herself to Vanity Fair and then the Super Bowl?
Yep.
Super Bowl. She's on after Fox 25, who had the Super Bowl on, then has Karen Reed on. Okay, that's fucking huge. And then releases a whole hour on YouTube about the interview, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's got nothing to hide. What guilty person in Canton, we might say, how many guilty people are in Canton would do what she's doing? None. They all have lawyers themselves.
And
You're a witness.
she's never changed
No, man.
this whole thing. All the interactions I've ever had with her, the conversations I've had with her, always the same. Level set, straightforward, informative, knows her case by the back of her hand.
Right.
It is what it is, you know.
She, like Alan Jackson said, she could be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, she could actually be a lawyer. I mean, she's very intelligent.
Yep.
And very, you know, her the clarity in her head during the day of what's going on. She's in the game every minute, every second of that courtroom. She's not like looking at it. She's listening to every word that her defense says, every word the prosecution says. Listen to what Auntie Bev says, and this hatred in that courtroom towards her. Maybe it's me just picking it up, but I can feel it that people just don't like her in there. You know, and especially when Paul O'Keefe was just sitting out there looking at her like, you killed my brother, you did this. And the whole time he's living a different life.
Yeah, he stared at me out in the parking lot one day at trial, and he waited and pointed at me and waved me over.
What?
Yeah, out in the court, the parking lot of the deeds
Behind the
building.
registry of deeds.
And Jody was there. Jody 617 was there. And I just told, like, because my car, because they park way down in the back of the deeds parking lot.
Right.
And you know, all the McAlberts, all of them, they're all parked there. Might have been a hearing. I think it was a hearing.
Okay.
And Jody 617 was there. We walked out, and I said, Paul O'Keefe's waving at me. Look, he's waving me over. He's staring at me. And a couple of us all, I said, my car's way over there. Just walk over me because there's an incident. Pull your phone out, whatever it is.
I was there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Tommy was there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells you what kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
He's angry at the world.
Yeah.
Everybody else but himself, right? You need to talk to your wife, figure it all out, get it through your head that, you know, getting intoxicated until 4 a.m. and saying that you testify the next day. Come on, brother. That's your brother, man. Yeah. Obviously, the relationship that they had wasn't what I thought it was, because I just remember them being close when they were younger. And then obviously I just met with John later on in life, not with Paul at all. So, but you know, the Tully, Paul O'Keefe connection through football at Stonehill. I mean, there's all kinds. And if you play sports together, you understand. If you're playing football and you have Tully, who's a lieutenant detective, and then you have Paul, and someone's talking in your ear that was an old teammate of yours, I think you kind of bend that way. You kind of lean that way. You kind of throw your trust into the air and say, look, all right, I got, you know, we've been friends a long time. Let's do this, you know, but the facts are the facts.
Yeah.
Let's not just put your head in the sand and move on, bro. You know,
I just think it's crazy that, I mean, you look at everything that's presented in front of you and you're going to roll with those people,
right?
Like, that people didn't even come out and help your brother.
Right.
People that called 911 and said, there's just a guy down in the snow. You have a retired police officer that didn't come out and help out on this front lawn. And Aid made a good point the other day too. Didn't even open their fucking garage to have a central location to say, hey, why don't you come in here? You can stage in here. We can keep warm, whatever it is. I mean, I just, those are the people you're going to roll with. I don't
something doesn't fly with me on that one. I don't care who you are. I think I'm a smart enough guy to figure it out, put common sense together. Yeah. Like, this timeline doesn't add up. And then to have Trooper Paul go to One Meadows and do a reenactment for you.
Yeah.
Whatever happened with that? What's all up with this stuff? You know, just weird stuff though. Bits and pieces. You go on vacation in Maine with the people that murdered your brother. Dude.
Wild.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's wild.
What are you doing? You're having your kids driven around by someone that was involved with a cover-up. Okay. I don't know what's going on with his wife. I don't know what's going on with him, but you have Mrs. O'Keefe at one end of the thing and you have Paul at the other. Like, are they together? Are they part of it? Right.
Yeah. Let me get to some of these. Let me get to some of these really quick. Cynthia, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that. Welcome in new members. Catherine Carroll, thank you for becoming a new member as well and supporting the channel. And we have a question, and I'll open this up to the guys. And then I got another question here that we can kind of go to. And then I do want to get into what everybody thinks about the Tuesday hearing as well too. So the free Karen Reed 5 for the win. $5. Thank you so much for that super chat. It's good morning, guys. Do you think John might have known something about Sandra Bertramo's case now that we know the same people are involved? I'm going to go to Tommy.
there's common denominators and there's similarities and there's actually other things that haven't been reported yet that ties this all together that we can't come out in, because we're it's a fine line, right? Do we just blab it out and tell everybody what's up and what we heard and blow the complete investigation and let them all walk? Or do we just kind of, we can't even allude to some of the stuff, but you know.
Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, when you have Liza Little stand up and say Sandra Birchmore, yeah, I think there's something going on there. You have an attorney, well-educated attorney, trying to introduce the Birchmore filings into a Reed case. Yeah, there's something going on here. Whether the tour report has these people on a text string on some bullshit, because you got Fanning, Farwell, Stoughton PD connected to Lank, Kevin Albert, Good. It goes on, and Lieutenant Gallagher. So yeah, I don't know at what capacity it's connected, but maybe through the TUI, maybe a little bit more understanding. And now that it's going to go to a federal court on March 5th for habeas, you're going to introduce a little bit of that TUI in a habeas, and Weinberg is masterful. 700 pages. I mean, there's got to be some damaging inquiries in there. And then to have Liza Little have the insight out of nowhere to bring in Sandra Birchmore's name with the nefarious actors in that same program, Garino. Garino's a big player, I believe, in all this. Right, Tommy? You know.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And just the way Fanning interviewed Matthew Farwell with a drive-up side-by-side car, we're good, moving on, right? And then signed off as a suicide. Well, we all know it wasn't now. She didn't unalive herself, right? So I think what they're trying to do is establish nefarious acts by these Norfolk County District Attorney CPAC unit from way back when. That is the connection. Do I think there's a connection with John O'Keefe himself? Hard to say. Hard to say. I knew he knew Kevin Albert, who was at Sandra Birchmore's findings, but I don't know what connection it would bring to the Boston PD, why John would be involved with a sexual offender in Stoughton, because that's not his jurisdiction. It would be more Boston PD. So I too try to grab that. I'm trying to play with it and trying to connect it. And sometimes your mind plays tricks on you. Go, oh, that's good. No, it just, I want to hear Liza Little's argument and see why she wants them in there. And obviously for the reasons of their investigation process. They didn't really investigate Sandra. They really did not investigate John. They just kind of.
Yeah. And someone could have been cracking some information to him, and maybe that's somewhere in a text stream or a phone call, a message.
Yes,
the only other thing that I thought was really smart about Liza getting up and talking about it too is, what is one of the major things that's going on right now that Spanky Brennan's trying to fight back against? ARCA. And who started the whole ARCA process? The feds. Okay. Right. Yeah. So, and the biggest thing in this case is, we can't talk about the feds. We're not bringing in the federal information. But if you mention the Sandra Birchmore case and say this is a federal case,
it is,
and we get files from the feds on the officers that are involved in the Sandra Birchmore case and the Karen Reed case, guess what? You're probably going to have to introduce the federal information into the Karen Reed case.
Right.
That's just me being a layman. I'm not a lawyer, but that's the way that I look at it.
I agree 1,000% with what you said. Yes. Yeah. That's the angle. That has to be the angle. Unless there's something I don't know. But
and again,
but to even talk about Sandra in a Karen Reed case is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge because the state case is done. They thought, she took her own life, but the federal government investigated the investigators and found nefarious acts. Okay, now you're gonna put those same people on a stand, and now you can ask them questions about the Sandra Birchmore case. Oh,
yeah. Oh boy.
A couple things before we get past it. We were talking about Karen, right?
Yep. Were we?
Think about it this way. Karen, when she speaks in what she says, is the truth because she was there.
Yeah.
The truth is the easiest thing in the world to repeat.
Right, right.
Hence why Karen has no problem walking
never
down the
changed.
stairs of the courthouse
That's right.
directly to the reporter and said, "Hey, if I confess to you and you have that content, that's on you, and now you're guilty."
Yeah,
Right to the cameras.
that's right.
No, didn't go through her attorneys. That was Karen Reed versus the freaking world here, right? And
Mhm.
she was right on the money. If Dateline had it, they wouldn't give it up. And the biggest thing, if Karen Reed was involved, get about if she was involved, bet your ass they'd have the video. There would be video of her being involved. Look at the only video that we have. It's been tampered, altered, clipped, snipped, inserted. The time's not
Inverted.
even freaking right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with. You know, that's what they're pushing on us. And a Stingray is, if you have a cell phone,
Oof.
the
Wow.
Stingray, your phone connects to the Stingray before it connects to the towers.
Mhm.
So anything you do on that phone, they have a duplicate copy in front of them
yep.
in real time.
Yep.
That's what
And
somebody was accused of using to get. Yeah.
and before we get to this, I want to talk about something here in a moment, guys. Let's do this really quick and acknowledge it. Nancy, thank you.
Wow. Wow.
$100 super chat. Thank you. She said for the glazed donuts. I
Oh,
love it. I love
Thank
it.
you, Nancy.
I'll
love
never
it.
eat a glazed donut again as long as I live.
And then free Karen Reed Fab 5 for the win. $5 says, I had thought that maybe John knew something about who murdered Sandra and is going to blow the whistle. Just a thought. And yeah, we've mulled that around. But if you guys go back and you listen to the hearing, and I don't know if anybody caught it, because I caught it, and Lauren and I caught it the other day when she was in here and we were talking in the studio. We went back and did the hearing on Friday night.
Right.
They started to talk about geofencing data.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the first time I've heard that been brought up in any of these hearings, maybe in a while or even just at all. And that tells me, guess what?
They got it.
They're investigating and they're going to start figuring out where all these phones were. And I mean, the feds already know, but I'm sure they're getting more information now and figuring out. And it was funny. Lauren's like, well, I don't know what geofencing data. I said, let me give you a brief lesson on how that works. Your phone is here. My phone is here. Your phone is there. Okay. They can tell in a surrounding area via the towers that everything's bouncing off how close we are to each other. I said, if you want to go back and watch something, and I encourage everybody in the chat room to do this, look up Alec Murdaugh federal testimony, or just put in like federal geofencing. And you want to watch an hour of incredible testimony from a federal agent. And forgive me, I forgot his name. But that will give you exactly how all this stuff works.
Wow.
And it's phenomenal. And I actually played it and talked about it when I did the Idaho 4 stuff, and I'm actually going to be getting back into that soon. But a lot of my viewers are like, what is geofencing? I said, well, I'm going to get you some beautiful testimony. My bigger point is what they found, how close that Alec Murdaugh was to his family, his phone. They narrowed it down to inches, not feet, inches of where he was from when he killed his family, his son and wife. So I encourage everybody to go watch it. It's phenomenal.
Do you know why there was a little gap in the geofencing when Mike Proctor ordered it? Because he ordered
educate me.
He ordered he ordered it for Android. He did not he didn't ask for Apple on purpose. Yep. On purpose. Now, if you go to the Walsh case, they did an Apple search. You know, they looked at all his products that way. They geofenced everything, right? But didn't do it 34 Fairview.
I just put in a FOIA request for Brian Walsh information. I want to see what they come back with.
Good for you, because you got it going on, man. I thought he was in jail for fucking art thief.
Oh, that's the next one we'll be doing. I'll be going to court dates for that one.
I like, and the other one from Dover, the doctor, is interesting because that's Mike Proctor as well.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Why do you think that? And I'll put this out there to both of you guys and whoever wants to take it
Yep.
first. Why do you think that the public has gravitated to this case so much?
Oh, I'll go real quick, Tom. Because anybody, and I don't mean to sound like, if you talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old from the movie Philadelphia, when Denzel, who's a lawyer, who's not a doctor, is trying to figure out what AIDS is all about.
Yeah,
what
great movie, by the way.
It is. I
Yeah.
think they won some Oscars on that one. I'm
Yeah,
not
they
sure.
did.
And so Denzel says to the doctors and says to all the trial attorneys that are, the experts, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I think Alisi has the ability to break down testimony and questions that is so simplistic that how can you not understand what he's saying and the response that you're getting? Because not everybody's an attorney that's sitting in the witness stand. They're just like you and I, right? And then you start listening to those people and taking the time to understand what they're trying to say, and then watching people like, Flipperhead, yourself, Turtle Boy, making videos, video G's, and breaking down testimony versus the police report. What they said to the police that's memorialized versus what they actually say on the stand are completely different. And then being handicapped by Judge Bev, not allowed to say the word federal grand jury, was just mind-blowing to me. And then it was mind-blowing to me to understand that these everyday jurors were so confused about who, what, when, where, and how do I do it. That to me was done on purpose. And I think everybody that was watching this trial was saying to themselves, why can't there just be a yes, no, yes, no, yes, no? All 3 counts, and then each one stands on its own merit. That makes the perfect sense to me. And there was judges in the South that would actually call jurors back in, but we didn't want to do any of that. It was such an eye-catching moment, and not every mainstream media did it. Ted Daniels did, you did, we did, and hopefully, slowly by the thousands, people are just, it's like kicking over a beehive. Here they come.
That's a good analogy.
Here they come.
Yeah.
You're gonna get stung, dude. Because you know what? This stuff right here, YouTube, these shows expose.
Yeah.
And we talk about the exposure, and we have a chat. People, it's not like a call, and we have a chat. It's even better. People can say whatever they want. I love that stuff. Hey, Nick, good morning, buddy.
Nick, good
morning. People just asked me in the chat, well, John knew something about drug dealing and Kevin Albert. Yeah. And Helena Rafferty went on the record saying, yeah, we do have conversations, text messages, but we haven't seen them. Right? They're impounded, or Helena lost them, or whatever's going on in this world. Again, Canton, the epicenter of what happened. And now the chief is gone, which was very weird. No one even talked about it. The select board meeting never, just skipped right over. The chief of police for 30 some odd years is gone, and not even a John Connolly moment of silence. Nothing.
Nope.
Just weird stuff, Brian. You're just like,
Yeah.
Tom,
why do you think the public gravitates to this case?
I think that this really could be one of their kids, or themselves, or someone could see them themselves.
Yeah. That's true.
People that say that the federal investigation, that the feds dropped it.
No.
Let me just tell you this. From the time someone gets arrested, the federal government gets a 2-year window that they don't have to do anything. That investigation is open for 2 years until another piece of evidence comes up. And when a new piece of evidence comes up, the clock gets reset from the time the new evidence gets found 2 years after that. So they get 2 years. They can't get Farwell, who's in custody, in front of a freaking judge. How many times does that get continued? He's supposed to be in front of a judge.
He's
what?
3.
30 days, 70 days out. He's still not in front of a judge.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's sketchy in itself. So
Yes.
if people think the federal investigation is over, they can't get Farwell in front of a judge. So I guarantee it's far from over by a lot.
Tom and I talk about it all the time. If Farwell is saying something in jail to federal prosecutors, that's going to be a tough rap to beat for everybody below us at the state level. Because as soon as he goes like this with a name, it's over. and now they have a 700-page report, habeas, going in front of a federal judge with a live warm body witness that witnessed all this stuff.
Yep.
I think we're getting pretty strong of a case right now.
It's crazy, that photo that was released of him, and it might have been Mizzy that did it, but I saw a photo of him he was on that Zoom call and he's in his cell. He looked pretty comfortable in there. He had all this stuff in there, and I'm like, I don't know, is this guy just like prison? Like, what the fuck?
I hope not.
I mean, that's
well, no.
he
Think
doesn't
about
deserve
it. No.
to be comfortable. But what I'm saying is, like, he's acclimated to that pretty, like.
Tom says throw him in general population, see what happens.
Yeah.
Not good.
Justice.
Yes, you will.
We need to think about this. This guy allegedly went to Sandra's house and took care of her, and then went and had his kid.
Fucking sick.
I know.
Like, that
fucking
blows
sick.
my mind. Every time you look at your kid, you're gonna be like, "Hey, I remember when you were born."
It's fucking sick, bro.
But these are the people. These are the people, Mike.
But if he talks like we talked about, if he's speaking, well, Matt, you know, you're going to be in here for life. Let's not forget about that. But you know, maybe you won't face it definitely, and it will keep you closer to your kids and your wife and your family. They can come visit it. Maybe you'll be in Connecticut. You know, things like that. They work around. I'd be very surprised if he's not already doing something.
Yeah.
Because just the way it's been pushed back. And he is sitting on top of something that they want really bad. They want, because he's the linchpin to a lot of things that can lead them to one other person, and then they squeeze, and they get
his brother, Divine. They all need to go down.
Why would the FBI? Why would the FBI? And this is what blows my mind, that these people are so freaking stupid. Why would they spend any money defending Karen Reed? Because guess what? It's not about Karen Reed. It's not about the SUV. It's about the Norfolk County District Attorney, Michael Morrissey. They tapped his freaking phones. He's a DA, Brian. You don't get a warrant on a sitting DA's phone. They want the people in his office. How are they going to do that? Well, they're going to prove that they set him up. They set Karen up. That's how the feds can prove that didn't happen.
I want to see the DOJ start kicking some doors in here pretty soon. I feel like it's building.
Yeah, I do too, because they keep pushing back the Farwell situation. Yeah. And that to me is a big red flag.
And the Proctor, even just the Proctor stuff too.
You're right.
What's going on there?
He could be caught up in the whole Farwell part of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office.
And here's another smart thing that Liza Little did the other day. And I love this. And you got to really listen to these hearings. And I said to Lauren, we were in the studio the other day, I said, they want the files from Proctor's hearing. And I said, that's a fucking great thing they're doing, because how do we know that they're just not going in there and they're fucking sitting around a round table sipping on coffee? They want to know what the status and what's going on here. Because remember, this was all supposed to be taken care of the first hearing. We didn't get that. Then they would delayed it. The second hearing. Now he's going to come back again. Like, what's going on?
March 5th. And they're like all day events. They're not like he's in there for 4 hours. He's gone. They're like, he's in there. He's fighting for his reputation.
Oh, it's either that or they're fucking sitting around drinking coffee. You know what I mean?
Shooting elastic at each other. Like, I hope not. But anything's possible. But Mike's probably got a lot of information. He's involved in a lot of cases. If he was, let's just say, Farwell, someone that knew Farwell, like Fanning,
Divine, any of those guys,
they could push Mike one way or the other. Now, Mike's a young guy. He's a young family. He's a young life. He doesn't want to go away. He doesn't want to do anything stupid. So he would be inclined to speak to somebody, in my opinion. I'm not going to jail for Tommy. You're not going to jail for me. Just the way life works. It's just like, dude, you're your own man, dude. You did it yourself. But was he under the pressure of somebody else that he reports to? It's a rah boys club, hockey, not a hockey club, but like a locker room atmosphere. Well, shame on you, Mike. Yeah. You got a gun and a badge, dude.
Yep.
You got a gun and a badge. Like that guy from the Fed just came. He goes, I'm coming to Boston and I'm bringing hell with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Right?
The border gazar, the new Trump.
Right. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I'm coming to Norfolk District Attorney's Office, and I'm bringing hell with me.
Yep.
Right? They have 50 some odd ADAs. No one wanted to touch this case. You see Valley up there just staring into the abyss. Laura McLaughlin, I don't trust for one moment.
No.
She's in deep. I mean, there's just so much to this. And then when this is all said and done, we're sitting here a couple of years from now. We got gray beards, and
I already got that.
Me too. And we look like we're goddamn 90, and we're like, we told you so.
Let me get to this really quick, and then I want to transition because I know the big buzz is what's going to happen on Tuesday, and we'll end the show with that today. But so real quick, What the Duck, 3-month member. Thank you so much for being a member of the channel, supporting me here. It's a serious question. Do you worry about retaliation? No, because you know why? I have every single right to be here under the First Amendment, to hold this microphone, to turn on this camera, to be on this platform and talk about every single thing that I talk about on this channel. And it would be kind of stupid at this point if any of them wanted to try anything, because we're all pretty much publicly known at this point. I'm not worried. I have friends in high places. They look out for me. I could turn to someone in a second and say XYZ, and I know I'm in a good place. How about any of you guys feel anything? I know you don't.
I live in the epicenter of Canton. So I wouldn't say I encourage you, but I wouldn't fuck around and find out. You know what I mean? I get every right to be here, just like you, Brian. Talk what I want, say what I want. What happened to me being arrested 3 times was real. Put a fucking FOIA request out there for me if you want to find out. They don't say shit to me. They don't say nothing to me. No one does. And if they want to, you're right to say whatever you want to me, man. I won't retaliate. I won't retaliate. I have no hate in my heart for you, man. I feel sorry for you if that's what you're gonna do.
I agree. Tom, I know you're not afraid. Go ahead.
He's assaulted more times.
I mean, they've threatened me quite a few times.
Of course.
And I'm still getting it, but go kick rocks.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't
we
care.
have
I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and no one's gonna stop me. I'll stop when Karen's innocent, when she's proven that this never happened.
Yeah, we have every right to be here and do what you're doing. You know why? It happens right in front of your face, people, every single day with the fucking government. I'm telling you.
Every day.
Every day. They're allowed to do it, and they're allowed to talk about it. No one's getting arrested. So whatever. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Nick Rocco, this is a great transition. Says Tuesday is going to be hot. They have the facts and proof on their side. The defense did nothing wrong. Completely agree. I completely agree.
Yep, I agree.
I've watched that piece of paper with no date on it from Hank Brennan. And what's that saying when the lawyers say, when you have the law on your side, pound the table. When you have the truth on your side, pound the table, you know, and when you don't, be careful, don't pound that table. And he was pounding it, Mr. Whatever his name is there.
Brennan.
Yeah, Spanky. And you could see the look in his face that he was a little upset with what he was doing. He
was shaking.
Was he?
Oh, Lauren and I caught him the other night. Lauren looked at me. She goes, because we're going through it. It was getting late. She looked at me and she goes, "Look like he's shaking a little bit." I released a video, and you can see him. He's shaking.
Oh, I'll check it out. I have to check it out.
I'll bring it up.
So he crossed the line, and you don't cross the line with Mr. Alisi, Mr. Yannetti, Liza Little, AJ, and then especially Karen Reed. You just don't do that when there's no date. And then you find out that you mistakenly misspoke and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, it was from the defense. I apologize."
Oops.
After she has a fucking meltdown.
Yeah, I'll play this. Unfortunately, we kind of talked over the video, and I'm going to make sure next time when we play videos and she's in studio that we're going to pause it, because it kind of muffle the sound out. But she catches, she goes, "Oh, it sounds like he looks like you're kind of shaking."
Had enough information from the material I reviewed, so it wasn't necessary. Need to show the jury it doesn't matter.
It's like shaking a little bit.
The date of that?
Actually does.
It's not dated. It's not dated.
Oh, good pickup there. I saw that. Let's go back a little bit.
Yep.
Oh,
That's interesting.
That is interesting. Watch his hand at the podium, people. I saw it too. I'll point it out with my. He's shaking because he's lying.
As I can.
Tank
Jenna provided an outline.
Curious.
An outline of questions and answers.
His voice is shaking too.
Yep.
Commonwealth did not have the luxury, the privilege, did not even
Shaking
know
all over the place.
that there was an outline that was being disseminated by this totally
Interesting who's showing signs of anxiety right
Yeah.
now and who isn't.
Wow, 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 wow.
What follows from this
Shaking
outline,
right there too.
Yeah,
Good
he is.
point out.
then the outline with remarks from this independent expert who knows nobody.
See his hand
You
is
see in the margins and the notes.
Especially when you zoom in, you can when they
Bear in mind how objective
really
witnesses.
So the paper shuffling too. You know, I looked.
Yes,
That's
yes,
nervousness.
he's just always doing this on the podium. That he's never done that before.
Yeah,
He's
that's
never-
nervousness.
Yeah, he's always been like, okay, and you can tell like he didn't want to do this, but he was forced to.
He's forced to
because,
do it.
Yeah, he has somebody telling him what to do. That's just my camera, I think, B. But it'll come back in here. There we go.
We're not drunk. That's Mike's camera.
I don't drink. I used to. That's
I don't
beyond
drink
me.
either.
Hey, do you still have that bottle of champagne?
I do.
Good.
I'll show you around.
That's gonna be famous. That's gonna put
Yeah.
a window out or something. Formula One, like in the podium, and there you go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Mikey brought this in for me
Yes.
when they came in and did the in studio live, and he said we're gonna pop this sucker when Aaron Reed is acquitted, and we are. We're gonna pop this sucker.
They're not going to drink it. We're just going to.
I don't drink, but yeah, someone wants to
definitely.
come by.
I think that's a big time for a celebration. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I think the party afterwards is going to be enormous. You know, whatever happens. I just don't know if it's going to go federal or it's going to stay in the state level. But remember this, Brian, last year when Cameron was walking out of court, I think Tommy caught it on the stream, and someone said, "Well, do you think we're going to be able to watch trial 2 next year on TV as well?" She goes, "I don't think so. I don't think it'll be on. It's not going to be on TV, which means federal, because you don't allow cameras in the federal court." So, like, she almost had a premonition of where this was going the whole time, and like,
You know,
just. And I think about Tom. With Tom, I think about how do you wake up every day with that weight on your shoulders? And I figured it out. Love and support from the family, a higher being, spirit, and God, and doing the right thing every day, and knowing you're innocent the whole time, and going out and talking about it and doing these interviews just reassures her and everybody around her that she's completely innocent of this, and she's getting railroaded by the fucking machine and power. And Microdots, kudos to you guys putting out some fantastic videos, man. The last one they just did was with about the AG, Maura Healey's in power. You know, all these people that are in the Democratic machine will be affected by this. You know, believe it or not, we got a Republican AG for the United States. We're a blue state, but I feel, politics aside, I feel there's a lot more red in the state than we really think there is. I think there's more people that think more Republican now than there ever has been. And if you're not, it's okay. I don't care. Be blue. My wife is a liberal, which is fine. We just don't agree on some things. We just move on. But when it comes to law enforcement, I think you have to look at it black and white. You can't be like, nah, you know, we can let that slide. There's no gray in law enforcement. You're guilty or not guilty, right? And everybody keeps on forgetting, you have to find without a reasonable doubt how important that is to a juror. If you think she maybe didn't do it, that's reasonable doubt. If you think the timeline doesn't fit, that's reasonable doubt. If you think someone's lying, that's reasonable doubt. You have to not forget that. And as a juror, I think we should be more selective of what town we pick them from. Randolph is a good, blue collar, I think is more effective. And talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Break it down to me. Make it simple, right? Not the 68 witnesses Lally had, and then have these strong personalities downstairs that you forget so much in your notebook and you can't request notes anymore. You got to really, really, really keep it simple, stupid people. That's who I am. You know what I mean? That's who I think a lot of people are out there. I'm not calling you stupid, but it's just the way we talk. And because we're not lawyers, And sometimes you get lost in the mumbo jumbo of a technique or a purpose or something like that. Just keep it straight, get the right people up on the court, in the jury, I mean, and just explain to them very slowly what happened and call more than 6 witnesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's great. I agree. And it's funny that you said the acronym KISS, because I said that the other night when I was talking to Nan Gallagher, attorney Nan Gallagher. We were talking about that, and I said, I think this time around, let's keep it simple, stupid. Not that I'm calling anybody stupid. I'm just saying I'm using that. You know, when we present
process.
I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Just talk to, like, when it comes to law, when it comes to law and what can be, you know, I was freaked out. Why can't they mention the federal government? Talk to me like I'm stupid. Maybe because a lot of people have told me that the cases, a lot of them are won in the pretrial conferences. What's allowed in and what's not allowed in. Now, if they had let the federal government been mentioned and what jury you went to and why you change your story after the state jury and then at the federal grand jury you changed it, that's a big cloud that gets disappeared to the jurors and say, well, so at 12:15 you said you left in the state grand jury, but now it's 1:45 in the federal grand jury. That's reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Listen, I got a bail. I had last week me and Mike did a pizza party, and we raised $420 for Karen in like 2 hours. It was a beautiful group of people.
Right.
They're going back to get more pizza today. You're more than welcome, Brian. I'd love to have you stop by. I'll see you there when you get there. No big deal, Mikey.
Yeah. Right.
But
Let's
everyone
do
yeah.
Which just going to end. I got Mazza coming here in a second. Why don't we just take this time to end the show? I think it's a perfect time to end. Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Listen, everyone that's here,
Yep.
I mean, we can't do this without the people watching. You right now in your living room, in your bedroom, wherever you're watching us, please just hit the like, the thumbs up. Those little things help so many more people. And we're blessed to be part of this movement. I mean, I don't know how to say thank you, but I mean, thank you for everything. And the people that are other content creators that are involved in this, they need to be thanked too, because this takes a lot to actually get up here and put yourself out there to say, hey, I think Karen didn't do this, and knowing you're going to get a world of you know what for it. But, you know, again, it takes a lot to put ourselves out there. So, you know, hit the like, subscribe, be a member of Brian's channel, subscribe to his channel. I mean, great content comes out all the time. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And I think we're good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love you guys all.
All right, Tommy. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
I love all you
right.
guys. Thank you so much. Thank you both for your kind words. Anytime you guys want me to come over on the morning show and I'm not working, hit me up. I'll come hang out.
Michael asks your help every day.
Yeah, Brian, if you're in the chat, I'm calling you out, bro. Just so you know.
You know what I'll do? I'll just message you and say, hey, I got XYZ day off. If you need me, I'll come hang out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we love having you on, Brian.
Yeah.
Dude,
And we like this. This is what it's about, right?
This is what it's about. I always said this. I don't know why. When you collaborate with other people on this platform, it goes better for your channel, people.
Common sense. A whole bunch of common sense there, Brian.
Common sense. By the way, in the chat, real quick, I just dropped the link. Mazza Media will be live in studio with me today at 2:30 p.m. Click that link, set your reminders. These guys got to get out of here. I got to get out of here for a little bit. And I want to thank my guests today, Tom, CPU, and Boston Mike. You need to check out their channel, Seeking Justice. If one of my moderators can grab that link and drop it in the chat, you need to like, share, and subscribe. They have the best Karen Reed morning show on YouTube. It's a phenomenal show. I love watching them. They crack me up in the morning. It's very informative, and they do a great job. And their moderators are great.
Brian, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, Brian, this has been a pleasure.
You, thanks for having us on, man. And I'll probably see you around. All right.
We're out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Everybody.
All right.
Bye.